Good Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. For those of you who have tuned into today's episode of Real Living in Bridgeport. By the way, in case you didn't know, Bridgeport is one of Chicago's some 77 neighborhoods here in Chicago metropolitan Illinois. So it's not Bridgeport, Connecticut. If you happen to think like, hey, what's this all about? Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you if you're watching today's episode as an on-demand recording. My name is Bill. And with that said, without further ado, let me have my co-host, Warren Wu, join me in today's episode. Hello, Warren.
Hi, Bill. Happy Chinese New Year. How are you?
Happy Chinese New Year right back to you and to our Asian brothers, sisters, in-laws, parents, extended family. Suddenly, by law, 恭喜发财, correct? Right? That's
right.
about right.
Yeah. 身体健康 is the most important part. Everyone has to stay healthy, right?
Right. That's so important. I mean, hey, the healthier you are, the more you can do, and the more things you can enjoy going forward in time. So we know this together, right, Warren? This weekend is a busy weekend for us because it's the start of the Chinese New Year. Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like all the cleaning, cooking.
Yeah, all of the cleaning that you are supposed to do, and then all of the food that you are to eat and supposed to eat. And I know this, right? You probably know this as well. There's certain foods that mean certain things as part of our having them with our families, correct?
Correct. It's like you have to eat certain food for like I don't know, just for the saying. Because of the sound. It's
correct.
The lucky sound.
Yeah. So for those of you watching us today, question for you: how many of you like noodles? I'm going to raise my hand. Yes. Yeah. Warren loves it too. Well, we're Chinese. We eat a lot of noodles. But my point in bringing that up today is in celebration of Chinese New Year, when we are eating noodles, it does have a meaning behind it. It's meant to reinforce living a longer life, right? Or
longevity.
Yeah,
especially New Year's and also birthdays for seniors, for like a grandparents when.
Exactly. And I don't know about you. A lot of Asians, as they get older, seniors, they age pretty well, don't you think? I think so.
Yeah, they age really well. I mean, I think it's because they exercise a lot. I mean, they like to walk.
Yes, they either are walking, or they're doing their Tai Chi, or another one I'm going to drop. This is meant to be funny. They play a lot of mahjong. Right? Come on.
The pretend swimming like this. They call.
Too funny today. So yes, for those of you who are laughing with us in today's episode, if you happen to be Asian, if you are specifically Chinese, you are probably chuckling. I hope you are, with Warren and myself, because hey, we're dropping the truth bomb here. Yes. All of that being said, let's get back to business of today's episode of Real Living in Bridgeport. Warren, why don't you lead us off with you being a real estate professional, you helping clients sell and buy real estate. What is going on right now as far as the real estate market is concerned? Care to share some more tips?
So pretty much as we talked about last time, very low inventory. So there's not a lot of inventory in the market, but there's still a lot of active buyers. Rates been slowly coming down, and it's been stable around like the 6.5%, give or take, in that range. So Uh, it's been good. It's the spring market now, so even more people are coming back into the market looking, but because of the lack of inventory, prices have been stable. So
Yeah,
not much price drop that people wanted because
yeah,
there's nothing in the market for people to even look at the moment.
yeah. That makes perfect sense to me. I mean, back to what is it, economics 101. If a supply is tight, demand is stronger than supply, the price point of that product, in our case, real estate property, is not gonna decrease. It's gonna hold steady, maybe even go up, right? When and
Yes.
if there are multiple buyers, multiple offers, are you seeing some of that still as you work with your sellers and or your buyers?
Yes, there's still from time to time there's multiple offers on like properties that are like rehabbed or like just nicer, newer because people don't want to put work into it.
Yeah, I know. I think gone are the days of a lot of people wanting to pick up what I call the fixer upper, because I don't know, there's not many distressed properties that are good fixers.
Right,
Fact number one. Fact
right,
number two. Well, let's call it like it is, Warren. I think in the day and age of the world that we live in right now, I think we all have what I call instant gratification. We want it now, we want
right,
it ready, and we want to enjoy it, right?
right. Well,
Yeah.
and the fact that contractors are so busy that
Yep.
people have to wait
Yes.
uh, takes time. So like not everyone wants to like wait a month or two from time to time for a contractor to be available to start fixing their house, and then it might take another couple months just to get everything said and done.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, uh, Warren speaks to something that is so important. Contractors. You got to have relationships with those contractors, right? I mean, your business, my business, I would say probably on our mobile phone, we probably have at least two or three contractors that we've saved the number for. It's on speed dial because if you don't have those relationships, life at home gets tough.
Yes, yes, especially during our freezing winter time when
Right,
when the furnace is not working.
right. Absolutely. Hey, I speak from my own personal experience, Warren. I think I shared with you. Last month we were a victim to a frozen, busted water pipe, right?
Yes.
And so fast forward to now, unfortunately, we were on the wait list with my plumber, but I didn't have to wait like months. Had to wait
Mhm.
about a week. So that got done recently. So we fixed the busted pipe. But then to get to the busted pipe, Warren, perhaps you'll appreciate this. My plumber had to open up sealing the walls. Ugly, ugly stuff. Big mess everywhere. And so, as I'm talking to you right now, and audience members, if you might lean in and listen, you might hear some banging because here at my home right now, I've got my other contractor who's putting everything back together. New drywall, re-insulating that exposed area, the problem area, and guess what else I'm doing to minimize this problem for the future one? Guess what I'm doing?
What? Let me know.
I am dropping in a heater in my garage.
Wow. That
Yeah.
that's not like not a lot of people would put a heater in the garage.
Well, I know, and it wasn't something that I had planned to do. However, given how disruptive a frozen busted water pipe is and how much it costs to repair it, I just don't want that happening again. So, for those of you who are watching us today, if you're friends with Warren, you're friends with me. If you're not friends with us yet, why not? Come on, link up with us. But here's what I'm about to drop for you. Hopefully, Mother Nature is not going to continue her wrath and being pissed off at us where we get another round of freezing temps. But if that does happen, my words of advice to you is this: keep the entire house warm, even the garage, especially if the garage is an attached one, because you don't want to go through what we had to go through. It was disruptive. It was Warren. It was home mafia, you know. So let's now talk about this, because you and I are Chinese. I think it's safe for me to say this, and hopefully you'll nod your head. Most Asians, not just Chinese, you know, let's span the entire Asia Pacific. Most Asians love real estate, right?
Yes.
And so for that reason, for as long as you have been helping your clients sell and buy real estate, are you seeing a pretty steady interest, demand of investors, foreign nationals buying real estate?
Yes, there are some. I don't work with a lot of foreign investors because my Chinese is not that good, but I've helped like one or two that did. So the process is slightly different because previously they don't have loans for people outside of the United States because of they don't have like a social security number and credit history.
True. And so usually then they're dropping cash to do it with you, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I'm not surprised. You know, cash is king, right? When you're representing your cash buyer, I'm going to guess here. When you're representing a cash buyer, you probably elevate your offer to the top, because who doesn't want to close fast? Who doesn't want cash instantly? Because that money gets wired, you know, these days, like in a heartbeat.
Yes.
But that being said, audience members, just like Warren talked about, it used to be, past tense, it used to be very difficult to source financing if you are a foreign national who doesn't live per se here in the US, but you have this interest, this need to buy real estate. Maybe it's that of you want to buy a condo here, downtown Chicago, because your son or daughter, right, is going to go to law school, and rather than just have your son or daughter live in a vanilla student housing, you want to set them up with nice condo, a view of Lake Michigan. And also, let's be real, why not do it that way? Because most of the time, real estate appreciates in value. So in that respect, if you are a foreign national, if you are an investor, there is ways to source money to buy your first investment property, your first home where you want to have your son and daughter going to graduate school here in Chicago or any other metro area. It's much easier. But do know this, right? The terms of financing will be a lot different than when you, Warren, or myself may be getting a loan to buy a home to live in. So keep that in mind. So as we are about to have a busy weekend and celebrate Chinese New Year, Warren, I didn't tell you about this today because I wasn't sure if it could happen. But there is a social media influencer. Her name is Angel Wong. She lives out in Seattle, where there's a lot of Chinese. No surprise to you and me, right? And so I found her because I thought for our episode today, hey, let's have fun with our audience members today, especially our brothers and sisters who are Chinese, who maybe are Asian, who may be in a household where they're mixed, right? Half and half. You know what I mean by that. Right. So without further ado, here's what I'm trying to tell you. I actually hit up Angel Wong through her website. I was that bold to ask her if she would personally guest in our episode today. But here's the reality. She didn't respond to me. That's okay. She
It's
doesn't
okay.
know me. However, given given technology, let me share with you who Angel Wong is, and we're gonna have fun. Angel Wong is gonna teach us, for all of you watching, how to ask for that Hong Bao, the red envelope. So let's enjoy this short video.
Hi, it's Angel. Do you want to make money during Chinese New Year? Well, I'm going to show you how in 2 minutes or less. First, know that during Chinese New Year, you can get cash in red envelopes. Yes, real cash. Why red envelopes? Well, it's because the color red symbolizes luck, and it's supposed to ward off evil spirits. So, who gives and who gets? Well, typically, parents give them to kids, or married people give them to unmarried people. Which brings us to who receives them. Kids, teenagers, even older adults who are still living at home with their parents. So, how much can you make? Any amount of cash is fair game. I've seen anywhere from $1 to $200. As a general rule, you likely won't see any amount of money with the number 4 in it, because 4 in Chinese sounds like death. But the number 8, on the other hand, sounds like luck. So you might get $18, $80, $800, $8,000. Who knows? That's why it's totally worth asking. Which brings us to, how do you ask for red envelope money? Well, in Chinese, you say, 恭喜发财 and smile. But if that doesn't work, you could always say, 恭喜发财 红包拿来. And that last part is a cheeky kind of way of saying, give me the red envelope. And it's okay to say it like that because kids do it all the time. So now that you know what to ask for and how, go do it. Find as many people as you can during Chinese New Year week and ask for your red envelope. The more people you ask, the more money you're likely to make. And if your family doesn't celebrate Chinese New Year already, tell them, I want to learn about other cultures and expand my horizons. You can even share this video with them and tell them Angel sent you. Parents, if you're watching this and you need a red envelope, don't worry, Angel's got you covered. I've got one on my website. All you need is a color printer and some scissors and some glue. You've got a DIY red envelope. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a happy Chinese New Year. Bye.
So there you have it, audience members. That is Angel Wong. She lives out in the Pacific Northwest. And by the way, that one video of hers that I came upon, Warren, it was kind of funny. So in the spirit of our episode today, just before the start of Chinese New Year, I thought, well, hey, let me bring her into the room. And very serious, I did hit her website and I dropped her a request and said, Angel, would you consider guesting in my video podcast series, Real Living in Bridgeport? But unfortunately, I didn't get a response. So I did the closest thing I could.
Well, at least you tried.
I tried. Hey,
I tried.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know till you ask, right, Warren?
Right. It doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah. And by the way, in all seriousness, Angel Wong, through her YouTube channel, she shoots videos on Asian cuisine, dishes, how to make them. So it's very appropriate, given the fact that as part of our celebrating Chinese New Year, right, Warren? We're going to be eating lots of great food. So, you might want to take a look at her YouTube channel. So in the spirit of Chinese New Year, giving out the red envelopes, Warren, got to ask you the question. What is the biggest red envelope you've had to give? And what is the biggest red envelope that you may have received?
The biggest one that I've given out is probably around $300.
Yeah, same for me.
Yeah, and then receiving wise, probably 100.
Oh, really? You're
100.
more of a giver than a receiver. Love that. Love that story. I
How about
agree with
yourself?
you. Yeah. For me, the biggest one that we've given was probably same order, like $500. It was a very close family member getting married, right? You know that when that's
Yes.
another time to give out those big ass hongbao. The biggest one that we received was, here we go, $1,000, $1,000. Now, that was, in all fairness, that was when my wife and I got married. So it was a big event, right? Big event, big wedding reception. And for those of you who are watching, Warren and myself, the giving of these red envelopes is not just during the celebration of Chinese New Year each and every lunar year, but it's for other big life events, wedding, birthdays, the birth of a child. So even though Warren and I in this conversation, we're being vulnerable and we're dropping some real facts as to how much we've given and received, there's truth to it. There's truth to it. Now, as we wrap up today's conversation, for those of you thinking, hey, that's a pretty cool ass idea, getting these hongbao, these red envelopes, let me give you a tip. Should you receive big ass hongbao, you accumulate enough of them. If you happen to, just like Angel Wong mentioned, get a hongbao $1,000, you get 8 of them. That's a nice lucky number. That's $8,000. That's pretty good for your down payment to buy a home with Warren.
Right.
Right?
Yes. It's a good down
Yeah.
payment. Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's called the Chinese way of down payment assistance. So, as we wrap up today's episode of Real Living in Bridgeport, for those of you who just may need to start a conversation with Warren and or myself because you've accumulated enough of your hongbaos by next weekend, which will end Chinese New Year, and you just might need help to find your next home, sell a home, and maybe along the way, because you won't have enough hongbaos, you still need a mortgage loan. How can you start a conversation with us? Real simple. Simply scan the QR codes that you see here. Warren and myself will gladly start a conversation with you so that we can help you achieve the goal of your next life event. So Warren, as I wrap up, 恭喜發財，新年快樂 to you and your family and your little ones. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
Right. 恭喜發財 and 身體健康 to you too.
Bye bye for now. Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Take care.